Hello all, it's Melinda. I have recently joined a Facebook group called Challenge Your Stash YouTube Hop, and they once a month do a video based on a challenge. They're always released on the 19th of the month, and May's challenge is to use a flower. I'm not much of a flower lady, so I have this beautiful vellum with a floral vine on it, and a friend of mine on another Facebook group has challenged us to use this as inspiration. Pink Paisley guest designer Eva Pizarro layout. I'm going to use vellum, and this vellum here has green in it. So I've pulled my stash and pulled this basic gray Aurora paper because the greens kind of go together. I haven't printed my photo yet because I'm unsure of what size I'm going to end up making it. So I'm going to wait and print my photo after I get that laid out. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put you on fast forward so that you can watch me do this. Thanks for watching.
I'm going to start off by cutting the manufacturer strip off the background paper and then cutting the vellum into 1-inch strips. Now the vellums, my mind's eye are some of them, and some of them I got from Michael's. Most of them I didn't get recently, so they've been in my stash for a while. I decide early on that I need a little bit of a structure to go by, so I'm going to draw a square to find the center. I should say draw an X to find the center with my T-square ruler, just lightly with the pencil, draw from one corner to the other. This gives me an idea of where the photo is going to be placed. And I also take a piece of scrap cardstock and I cut it into a 4x4. This is what I've decided my photo is going to be. I fold it so I have the center, and I line the folded lines up with the pencil lines. And I'm going to adhere this down. It's going to stay because it'll be covered up with the photo. I'm going to lay it out thinking that I'm going to do two sides the same and do two sides, different. And I like the way this is looking. And then when I lay this floral down, and I realized I don't like there to be two different patterns next to the photo. I want the same pattern, and I'm going to choose it to be the floral. So I lay the floral down and decide the pattern. I've put a neutral-ish vellum in there. It's polka dot, so it kind of reads as just a plain vellum. And I do that so the eye has a place to rest, is my thought. It doesn't stay that way because I need to add another color to the layout, so that's where I choose to add it. I'm just going to lay it out. I'm a very visual person. I have to see the whole thing together to make sure I like it. So doing one side wasn't doing it for me. I had to do all the sides. And yep, I do like that. I will need to use one of them twice on the corner, and I'll do that when I lay it out. Now I've jumped ahead here because there was just a lot of fiddling around. I've cut the green paper at a 4x4, and I decide that I need to have some tissue paper between the photo and the paper because I had to cut the white border off of the photo, and I just like the white around the photo to separate it from the background paper. I'm going to put many, many layers, and I'm going to put them on individually so that it kind of keeps the idea of randomly stacked paper underneath here. Some I fold, some I just leave as a square. It just adds texture and depth to the layout. I left all 4 squares together and stapled them. I want it to look thick like a frame, so that's why I left all 4 there. I'm going to cut some fun foam to put on between the photo and the background square. Now I'm only going to show you one of these sides being put down because it was a kind of a tedious process. I laid a ruler on, which in the end does not help. I still get a little off kilter and have to fix it. The process I'm going to use is I'm going to stick some adhesive on one end of the vellum, and then I'm going to stick adhesive on the background edges. And no more adhesive because I'm going to sew these down, so I don't want to gum up my needle. And I'm just going to go in the order that I have previously figured out, just leaving a random space between. I don't measure it, I just kind of go by eye. That piece looks very crooked because of the way the lines go, but it is straight. I had to check it. I'm making sure also that the green with the stars on it, I use the edge that has the most stars as opposed to less stars. And this is where I realized that my ruler wasn't helping me. They're still not lined up, so I'm going to fix them. And I decide that I'm going to use the striped one as the corner piece and just move it so that I have more than one stripe when I cut it. And there you go. There is all of them done. I just cut the edges off there with my paper trimmer. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to hot glue the photo to the background paper because that fun foam does not like my adhesive. And it also likes to cup, so I want to make sure the photo stays straight. And I think I'm going to stick it down, and I realize, no, I'm going to sew, so I can't have the photo on there. And there we go, that's sewn, and I'll show you a close-up of the sewing. I just sewed all around all the edges of it to trim some strings. Now I'm going to hot glue the photo down because it was on and accessible. Those darn strings. I'm really debating on a title. I realize I need another color, and after going through my stash and realizing that none of the greens I have match, I decided I definitely need another color. I'm going to decide that it's going to be black. These are C'est La Vie by Pink Paisley sticker or letters. I put them on there and then I said, nope, I don't want it to be black, but I go back to them because I can't figure out another solution for letter stickers. I dig through some labels, and that minty green is just not the same in any of the labels I have. So I'm just going to stick with a white label. That's a gold paper clip. It's not going to stay, but I stick it there. And I'm thinking that the title is going to have to go on there because I'm not going to put the title at an angle. These tile stickers are Allison Craft from Webster Pages. They're #happy. I'm thinking I want to use these hearts. Just where is the problem? Once I had the base down, I really struggled at where to put things. You see me tapping my finger. And I decided I need some gold thread. I'm just going to wad it up like a little nest. I can't explain why I like to use the thread. It kind of lends itself to a messy look. With the structured background the way it is, I kind of wanted to add a little messiness. This is where, if I'm going to add black, I need to add black someplace else besides those hearts. So I'm going to turn to washi tape, and I'm going to put this film strip down. And this is just a trial, and I think I don't like the film strip lines in it, So I'm going to add another washi tape over top of it. And these are all just thin washi tape. And because I'm layering them, I get a almost variegated look to the washi tape. So that's when I decide that black is definitely going to be my color, and I'm going to have to get those C'est La Vie letters back out. The hearts stay about there, but now I have to go through and cut these the washi tape to match up with the lines on the vellum. Just use my X-Acto knife and cut it layer by layer. Washi tape, or the blade, works very well to cut the washi tape. I was actually pretty surprised. Didn't apply too much pressure so that it went through all the layers. I'm going to add black thread as well. That just adds to the little messy nest that I want to create. These butterflies are the butterflies I got from the Mind the Scrap kit for April, and they're One Canoe 2 for their Globe Gallery. They're an American Crafts line. I only have 3 of these, one big one and 2 small ones that came on the sheet. And the mint matches perfectly, and it's got the black in it, so it's probably a good thing I picked black. So I play around with where I want these to go. All this time I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to have for my title. I pulled out some gold sequins and some minty aqua-y green sequins. And I sprinkle them around. At this point I'm just trying to see if I like it. I end up readjusting them a couple times before I actually stick them down. This is where the paper clip comes off. And this is kind of what I do when I don't know what I'm going to do for a title. I'm thinking about it while I'm just continuing to add things to the layout. I know I'm going to need some place to put the title. I'm going to stick this onto paper so that it doesn't actually stick to everything. And what I don't like is I don't like the banner sticking out on the other side of the photo, so I tuck it under, and I'm going to end up folding it so I don't see it on the other side of the photo. And I decide 18 is definitely the word, and then I'm going to write on this label she's, so like she's 18. And I'm going to really speed you through the tile letter stickers here because they take a little while for me to line up. But the whole title is She's 18, Look Out World, She Is Not Using Her Brakes. Basically meaning she's full speed ahead. She's a very organized girl, and she has her poop in her group, so to speak. So nothing is holding her back and stopping her. I had to write it out so I wouldn't miss any letters. When I'm doing the tile letter stickers, I tend to put them on backwards. So start at the back, the last letter of each word. And I sometimes have to pay attention to how I wrote it so that I don't miss a letter. I write that over in marker because that's definitely what I'm going to do. Now, a lot of this stuff is just laid there. It's not stuck down, so they keep floating around, and that's driving me nuts. So I decide that I definitely have to take care of this. I fold over the edge of the label, and I got to figure out how I'm going to stick down this thread, because it's just floating around and driving me nuts. That's just Tombow Mono Multi in my fine line bottle, and I just put a little bit between the layers and just shove the thread in there. Now I have to leave enough room for the 18 and the exclamation point. And I found out that these have a little piece of sheeting on them to protect them from being scratched. So I got to peel that off. I probably could have left it, but... And then I realized that I put it on the wrong side of the adhesive. It was backwards, so I had to rub that off. I'm going to put the question or the exclamation point down. I had just 18 there, but it needed another something. I'm going to put foam on it and then hot glue, so it has a little bit of lift to it. And I'm just going to put the tile letter stickers underneath so the title's all together. And for the tile letter stickers, I kind of put them together, overlapping, haphazard. Some are a little up, some are a little down. I just like to do that. The letters would be too far apart if I lined them up square with each other, so I like to overlap them. Now I'm going to work on this cluster at the top. Got to get the thread down first. It's another putting glue down and stuffing it into the layer so it sticks. Now most of the time I just let the thread do what it wants to do. Keep it kind of contained. These are Heidi Swap hearts. It took me years to realize that they were actually self-adhesive on the back. That's how long I've had them. I overlapped them and I put some foam on it, and I'm going to use some hot glue because the thread is just not letting it stick to the background. The butterfly has a piece of foam adhesive on it, so I stick it down and it stays. This third one I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. They have a bend in them so you can fold them up, make it dimensional. Now I got to deal with the sequins. I just threw them around and they kind of stick to your fingers. So I normally put them down with my Tombow Mono, but this time I try my hot glue gun and it sort of bubbles up the gold ones a little bit. You can't really tell, but I probably won't use the hot glue again for the gold ones. Making sure they all are sticking down. And with that, the layout is done. I'm going to do some live close-ups to show you the stitching. Be sure to check out my description box. It'll have links to everyone in the Facebook group that's doing this video hop for this month. By all means, if you like them, give them a thumbs up and subscribe so you can catch out what else they're doing. These are going to be some still shots, some photos of them. And thank you again for watching. It's been great fun doing this with this group, and I hope to see you next month. Thank you. Bye.